What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. Today's video is going to be my top 5 favorite league winning players. These are players that I think are falling massively in drafts and that could finish way above their ADP and ultimately win you your fantasy leagues. This is going to be a good video, guys, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We have just a few weeks left before the Fantasy Puck Patreon leagues officially close. Make sure you secure your spot. Click the link in the description below. As always, if you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment or join the Discord and send me a message. Without further ado, guys, let's jump into the league winning players video. Starting this video off with who I think is actually the biggest steal in all of fantasy hockey right now, Andrei Svechnikov of the Carolina Hurricanes. He was injured late last season with a torn MCL and a partially torn ACL. It required some offseason surgery, but early in training camp, he seems to be skating the top 6, playing power play 1 minutes. He is going to start the season with the Carolina Hurricanes, and he has fallen 30 to 40 spots in the draft compared to last season at ADP 82. He has the upside to finish easily in bangers leagues as a top 10 to 15 player, in leagues without hits as a top 30 to 40 player. The former 3rd overall pick of the Carolina Hurricanes, he is their franchise winger. He's going to be playing big minutes this season. We project him this year to be the 28th best fantasy points per game in standard Yahoo leagues with 30 goals, 43 assists, 22 power play points, 235 shots, and 170 hits. That is crazy numbers right now. If healthy, he can easily be an 80 point, 250 plus shot and a 200 hit type of player. Very similar to Brady Tkachuk with even more point upside. He's falling way too much in drafts. This injury is priced into his ADP at ADP 82 right now. I think he can easily finish as a top 30 to 40 player, 40 spots above his ADP. This is a guy I want on all of my teams. He is going to be the best fantasy player for this season. Moving on to the next player that I think could win leagues this year, John Carlson of the Washington Capitals. It was between him or Evan Bouchard here, but I just think with the ADP discount, John Carlson has more upside to finish well above his ADP compared to Evan Bouchard right now, who's going around pick 40. With John Carlson, it was the worst season of his career last year. He still managed to have a very elite shot rate at 8.0 shots per 60, but his 1.9 points per 60 was the worst since 2013. He had a slap shot to the face, which kept him out with injury, a very freak accident for a guy who really has never been injured in his career. He still played big minutes, 23 minutes and 23 seconds per night, and was shooting at one of the highest rates amongst all defensemen. He actually managed to raise his block rate to 2.2 blocks per game last season. So for those who are in peripheral leagues, category leagues, or even points leagues that count blocks, John Carlson has a very, very solid floor. This is a very similar situation to what we saw with Dougie Hamilton last season, where 2 years ago, he had jaw surgery and missed about half the season. He was very, very underwhelming, and then came back last season and just blew up, had one of the best seasons of his entire career. Now, this Washington Capitals team is not very good. I'm kind of looking at the OV goal race right now, and this power play is going to be all over the ice. John Carlson is going to be continuing his torrid pace. He has the 5th highest points per 60 since 2020 and the 14th best shot rate amongst all defensemen. He's an elite defenseman. There's really no competition. I don't think Rasmus Sandin poses as a risk to John Carlson. If he plays all 82 games this season or 74 like we're projecting, he is going to finish well above ADP and potentially as defenseman 5 this season. Moving on to another player that had a breakout season last year and I think can finish well above his ADP, Owen Tippett of the Philadelphia Flyers. He is being drafted in all drafts right now, but is falling past round 12 in 12-team leagues, which is way below where he should be going. He was the only forward last season with 230 plus shots, 120 plus hits, and 60 plus blocks. The Flyers are a bad team, but Owen Tippett has a massive floor and an even higher ceiling. He should get line 1 role, power play 1 like he did last season, and play well over 18 minutes per night. We have him projected for 78 games played, 27 goals, 12 power play points, 222 shots, and 142 hits. Over his last 35 games last season, he averaged 19 minutes time on ice, a 1.24 goals per 60, 11.27 shots per 60, and 4.61 hits per 60. He's an elite shooter. There's no competition. With Sean Couturier potentially making a return this season, that only makes Owen Tippett better because he has a better centerman on his line. He hit career highs in every single category last season. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke out of it again this year. A big part of that Claude Giroux trade, and we're starting to see why. Owen Tippett is a league winner for me this season. I think he can finish way above his ADP. Here we go. You knew it was coming. I am all over Sam Bennett this season. He is between him and Svechnikov, those are my two favorite players, and I'm going to make sure I own them in all of my leagues this year. Sam Bennett, for some reason, is only drafted in 4% of leagues right now. He's at ADP 168, going right at the end of the draft. Now, with position updates, he now has center and wing eligibility, which is massive, especially with how many centers there are this season. You can draft him as a center and just play him on the wing. Bennett's 82-game pace last season, 20 goals, 31 assists, 246 shots, 195 hits, 45 blocks, and this is with 0 power play time. This is with second line minutes and no power play time. Now, why do I like him so much this season? In playoffs last year, do or die, they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Bennett had the 5th most power play time, just 3 minutes less than Alexander Barkov. And he had the best shot rate amongst all players in that top unit, meaning the puck was trying to go to him. Now, with Montour out, Ekblad out, Oliver Ekman-Larsson or Forsling should take over that power play 1 quarterback role, and then Sam Bennett should just simply slide back onto that top power play unit like we saw at the end of last season and into playoffs. Right now in camp, he's skating with Nick Cozens and Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk had 100+ points last season, and this is even better for him. There's so much to like about this Florida Panthers team as well. The 10th best power play rate amongst all teams last season, the most shots for, the most expected goals for, and the 6th most actual goals for. Even with injury, Bennett continues to finish 80 spots above his ADP. If you're in leagues, I feel like everybody plays in leagues with hits now. Bennett is a must draft player, but even in leagues with points, he has a huge upside on this Florida top 6 power play 1. With Yahoo default scoring, we have him projected as the 38th best fantasy points per game and the 71st best scoring player, and that's what projected him for 68 games played. I'm going to go back to this again. I was so high on Fiala my first 2 years of fantasy puck, and then that bet finally paid off. It's going to be the same thing with me with Sam Bennett this season. It's finally going to pay off. He's going to be a league winner. I want him on all of my teams. Finally, the last player for this video, someone I feel like everybody is kind of on this year, but is still falling considerably in drafts, Dylan Cozens of the Buffalo Sabres here at ADP 130. He had an unbelievable third season last year, 81 games played, 31 goals, 68 points, 211 shots, while playing just 16 minutes and 30 seconds. He was given power play 1 opportunity near the end of the season where he was playing around 18 minutes per night, which is exactly what we want to see from him. We do know that Tage Thompson obviously will be playing that line 1 role, and that leaves Cozens in a top 6 role, but he was consistent throughout the entire season and got better once he got on that top power play unit and just started to dominate. He was added across all leagues. I added him in a few of my leagues and ended up winning them. He is locked in as the line 2 center, and he's poised for a huge season. We haven't projected to play all 82 games this season. Nothing indicated him being injured or having any prior injury history. 31 goals, 19 power play points, 225 shots. Everything about his game improved last year. His goals per 60, his assists per 60, his shots per 60, his hits per 60. Everything got better. His shots moved from 7.6 per 60 to 9.5 per 60. Those are the trends that you want to see in players that you do think are going to break out. If you're shooting the puck more, you're having more offensive opportunity to score goals, and you're also finding yourselves in the right spot. This Sabres team is extremely good last year. They had the 3rd highest goal rate amongst all teams behind only the Bruins and Edmonton Oilers. If we continue to see improvements from Cozens, we know this Sabres team is only getting better. This could be a massive year for Cozens. He could end up being a Tage Thompson from last season. We'll see. But at ADP 130, he is easily a league winner to finish 70 to 80 spots above his current ADP. That will do it for the league winners video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next video.